The time has come, the time we've all been waiting for. Xbox is no longer going to be making brand new first-party games for the Xbox One. And you ask yourself, why have we been waiting for this? Well, it's only a matter of time. We're 3 years into the cycle, and I think it's time. I really do. I think it's time that we focus on the next generation of consoles. So while some players may feel left out, don't worry, if you're on the Xbox One, you can still play new titles via cloud on those systems, which I think is a great compromise. But for everybody else, particularly for developers trying to produce games with next-generation graphics, this makes your job just that much easier. This makes their job that much easier, and I think it benefits us as gamers in the long run. We get to finally take full advantage of these next-generation machines. Not that we've not been taking advantage of them now, but from here out, every first-party game at least will only be supported on these next generation consoles, and I think that's a good thing. How do we know this? This is an article at Engadget, and we know it because Matt Booty said it. He said, "We've moved on to Gen 9. He told Axios, referring to the Xbox Series X and S consoles. He does say that it's possible for those still clinging on to Xbox One to play the Series X and S titles, such as Starfield, Forza Motorsport, etc., through Xbox Cloud Gaming. That's how we're going to maintain support," Booty said. And again, I think this is huge. Xbox moving on with their first-party studios, their first-party titles, to only developing on these next-generation consoles. This is how it's going to be. You will always be kind of knocking off that last generation and moving forward at a consistent rate. Now, long-term, I think Xbox's plan is to eventually get rid of generations. Phil Spencer has said this in the past. He views it much more akin to the iPhone, and I believe the Series X and S is the first iteration of that, to where the iPhone is supported, but there's no longer generation of consoles. So you can have past iPhones. Indeed, I have an iPhone 11, for instance, and my iPhone 11 still runs brand new like it was day one and is still supported. I'm able to do everything that an iPhone 13 can do as far as apps and games, etc. are concerned. Eventually, support for that iPhone 11 will go away, but it's not like generations where you have to get all new games, all new software, all new hardware each time a new console comes out. That is a thing of the past, and I think that's good. I think that benefits us as gamers. Now, on top of this news, I do want to also just review with you guys real quick this article by Paul Tassi over at Forbes. And I think it fits in line with this idea of moving on to the next generation. I think we're here with the next generation of Xbox anyways, in that Starfield is Xbox's first next generation game. It is a game that's going to put Xbox on the map. At least it feels that way as of right now, and I could not be more excited. And we're seeing all these kind of articles drip out of, wow, Starfield looks like the game of a generation. Wow, Starfield looks like the game that Xbox has needed for a while. Xbox is starting to turn the corner. Articles in those vein. And I like this one by Paul Tassi. I thought we'd review it. Starfield feels like the first Xbox exclusive in ages that will pain PlayStation fans. And I think that's 1,000% correct right there. I do think that Starfield, what we saw, I said it before, after Redfall, Starfield, there was so much pressure on Starfield, and Starfield Direct absolutely delivered 100% to the point that we're getting these kind of articles written. Well done, Microsoft. I just want to review some of the quotes he says here. He says, "This is not some Xbox is about to blow PlayStation out of the water post, but I do think this is a situation PlayStation players have not found themselves in often. Indeed, I don't think they've found themselves in this situation in a generation. I think the Xbox 360 was the last generation that they found themselves in this situation when they're like, shit, I want that game. I want to play that game. I need an Xbox or to be in the Xbox ecosystem via Game Pass in order to play that game." And honestly, let's be honest, they've not been in that situation. Unless you wanted to play racing via Forza, you've not been in that situation with single-player games, with multiplayer games since the Xbox 360, and now you're here. Paul Tassi says, "Not for years, I'd argue, one where they are missing a genuinely massive game that is not available on their best-selling console. This feels like," he continues, "the first time both PlayStation fans are genuinely envious of a game coming to cloud, despite what fanboy wars about frame rate and such may say." The frame rate argument, we did a video on that yesterday. Make sure you go check it out. If you are complaining about a frame rate for Starfield, you're foolish. There are people in my comments of that video who are like, all that matters is frame rate. This is a next generation console. This is ridiculous. No, it's not. A good game is a good game. Starfield looks like a great game. It's not going to matter. You're just making hay about nothing. And for those who are like, I'm never going to play this game, it's only at 30 frames a second. You're lying. Of course you're going to play it, especially if it's good. If it's as good as it looks, you're going to play it. So this is the first time that PlayStation fans are genuinely envious of a gaming console, of a game coming to Xbox, and B, something does indeed feel like it was taken away from PlayStation as a result of an enormous Microsoft purchase. Even future big games like Fable and Perfect Dark aren't in that category as Microsoft IPs, and Obsidian's Avowed isn't anywhere close to this scale. That's a really good point. Starfield would have otherwise been coming to PlayStation had it not been for Microsoft purchasing up Bethesda and bringing it into the fold, as it were. That's a really good point, Paul Tassi. So that kind of makes it burn a little extra. Right there. It's like imagining Skyrim, he continues, which has sold 60 million copies in 12 years, not coming to PlayStation. Fallout 4 sold 12 million copies in 24 hours back in 2015. Starfield will not put up that level of sales numbers because it's being offered day one on Xbox Game Pass, though it's already topping the Steam charts via pre-sale over there. But you're not able to get it on the PlayStation. And that, I think, is going to have some PlayStation players. This is exactly what Microsoft needs, too. Because you don't have to purchase an Xbox. If you have a PC, you can get into Game Pass. You can either pay for it full price or, hey, come get Game Pass and check out this awesome deal that we have. Subscribe to it. He concludes here, PlayStation players can pretend otherwise, but if Starfield comes out and is as big as Fallout or Elder Scrolls release, it's going to be a huge pain point not to have some access to it on their console of choice. There are some workarounds, but many won't be able to employ them, and Microsoft wants this to become the norm, not an exception, as they try to keep pace on the first-party front, and I think this is the first iteration of that. I think we've got some big games in the pipe for Microsoft, but definitely Starfield. And again, I was skeptical, like, oh, is Starfield going to be able to do it? I'm not sold, and everything I saw in the Starfield Direct, the hype looks real. I hope the hype is real, but regardless, I think this is illustrative of Microsoft hitting that next generation stride. So 2 things here to take away. Number 1, this is the first game in a generation, Starfield, that is going to make other console owners want your console. Not only want your console, but want in your ecosystem, and that is Starfield. And number 2, Microsoft no longer making new games for the Xbox One. This is illustrative. This is indicative of this move forward, this push forward. We're turning the hill and turning the corner, and I hope this means many more bright things and a bright future for Xbox and Xbox fans and players and Game Pass, and I think it is. I may be wrong, though. Let me know. Let me know in the comments below what you think, what you like, what you don't like here. Where am I wrong? Where am I right? Don't forget to let me know. Also, if you like what we're doing here, if you like this video and you want to see more like it, hit that like button, subscribe to this channel. My name is X1 the Gamer. We're doing Xbox videos like this all the time. I'm traveling, so my setup's a little bit weird. I think the audio is a little bit better today. Tell me. Let me know. How does the audio sound? Let me know in the comments. Have a great rest of your day, guys, and I'll see you next time.